Do you ever feel pulled in 1,000 directions? One day, it's the frantic rush of too much, striving, pushing, overextending. The next, perhaps, a quiet drift into too little, a sense of stagnation, or a void where purpose should be. This constant swing between extremes can leave us feeling exhausted, uncentered, and far from the balanced life we instinctively seek. It's a common human experience, this oscillation. We yearn for stability, for a sense of inner equilibrium, but the path to it often feels obscure, hidden by the clamor of life's demands and our own internal tug-of-wars. Is there a simpler way to navigate this, a guiding principle that can bring clarity and calm amidst the chaos? Imagine a life where you're not constantly battling these opposing forces, but instead, walking a path of graceful equilibrium. A life where your actions, thoughts, and emotions find a harmonious center, leading to a profound sense of well-being. This isn't a distant dream, but a tangible possibility, illuminated by wisdom that has resonated for centuries. Over 2 millennia ago, the great philosopher Aristotle offered a powerful insight into this very challenge. He observed human nature, our strivings, our failings, and our potential for flourishing. His wisdom provides not a complex set of rules, but a single, elegant principle for navigating life's complexities and finding that elusive balance. Aristotle called this principle the golden mean. It's a concept so profound yet so practical that it remains startlingly relevant today. It's not about compromise in the sense of settling for less, but about finding the perfect, virtuous middle ground between two undesirable extremes. It's about finding the peak, not the average. The core idea is beautifully simple. In many aspects of life, virtue and excellence lie in this middle state. To deviate too far in one direction is to fall into excess. To deviate too far in the other is to fall into deficiency. Both excess and deficiency, Aristotle argued, lead away from true happiness and fulfillment. Let's consider what deficiency truly means. It's the too little. Imagine courage. The deficiency of courage is cowardice, an inability to face necessary challenges, leading to missed opportunities and a life lived in fear. This isn't a path to strength or contentment, it's a shrinking of one's potential. Think of a plant given too little water or sunlight. It withers, fails to blossom, and cannot reach its full, vibrant potential. Similarly, in our lives, a deficiency in effort, care, or engagement can lead to a barren inner landscape, where our talents and passions remain dormant and unexpressed. Now let's look at the other side, excess. This is the too much. Returning to courage, the excess of it is recklessness or rashness, a blind Chinese letter that ignores danger, leading to unnecessary harm or failure. This, too, is not true strength, but a lack of judgment and foresight. Imagine a river that floods its banks. While water is essential for life, too much of it becomes a destructive force, overwhelming everything in its path. In our lives, an excess of ambition without temperance or passion without control can lead to burnout, broken relationships, and internal chaos. So we see two pitfalls: the chasm of deficiency and the treacherous peak of excess. Aristotle's wisdom guides us to understand that true well-being, true virtue, is not found in either of these extremes. Instead, it lies in skillfully navigating the path between them. The golden mean is this balanced middle. For courage, the mean is bravery, facing dangers with wisdom and appropriate action. It's not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. This is where true strength and effectiveness reside. Consider generosity. The deficiency is stinginess, hoarding resources and goodwill. The excess is extravagance or wastefulness, giving without thought or prudence. The golden mean is true generosity, giving appropriately, with wisdom and good intention, enriching both giver and receiver. It's crucial to understand that the mean is not mediocrity or a dull averaging out. It's an apex, a point of excellence, like the perfectly tuned string of an instrument that produces the most beautiful note, not too slack, not too tight. Finding this mean isn't always easy. It requires discernment, self-awareness, and an understanding of the specific context. What constitutes the mean can vary from person to person and situation to situation. It's a dynamic balance, not a fixed, rigid point. This simple rule to avoid extremes applies to so many areas of our modern lives, often far removed from ancient battlefields or philosophical debates. Think about your work life. Do you find yourself veering towards burnout through overwork? That's the extreme of excess in work, relentless hustle, no time for rest or rejuvenation. The body and mind suffer, creativity wanes, and joy diminishes. This isn't sustainable, nor is it truly productive in the long run. Or perhaps you lean towards the other extreme: procrastination, underutilization of your talents, a lack of engagement that leads to boredom and a sense of unfulfillment. This is the deficiency in the realm of work. The golden mean here is not about working less or more, but about working wisely. It's about engaged productivity balanced with essential rest and recovery. It's finding a rhythm that allows for both achievement and well-being, a sustainable effort that fuels passion. Consider your emotions. Do you tend to suppress them, creating an internal pressure cooker, deficiency of expression? Or do you let them erupt uncontrollably, causing damage to yourself and your relationships, excess of expression? Suppressing emotions, the deficiency, doesn't make them disappear. It merely buries them, where they can fester and manifest as stress, anxiety, or even physical illness. It cuts us off from a vital part of our human experience and our ability to connect authentically. On the other hand, being completely overwhelmed by our emotions, the excess, can lead to impulsive actions, regret, and strained connections. When emotions rule without wisdom, we become like a ship tossed in a storm without a rudder. The Aristotelian mean here is emotional intelligence. It's acknowledging your emotions, understanding their messages, and expressing them constructively and appropriately. It's feeling deeply, yet managing those feelings with wisdom and composure. Think about your opinions and beliefs. Are you rigidly dogmatic, unwilling to consider other perspectives, an excess of certainty? Or are you so open-minded that you stand for nothing, lacking conviction, a deficiency of belief? Dogmatism, the excess, closes us off to growth and learning. It can lead to intolerance and conflict as we become entrenched in our own viewpoint, unable to see any truth in others. This creates walls, not bridges. Conversely, a complete lack of conviction, the deficiency, can lead to a life without direction or moral grounding. If every idea is equally valid or none are worth holding on to, we may drift aimlessly, easily swayed and lacking inner strength. The golden mean here is thoughtful consideration and principled flexibility. It's about holding beliefs with conviction, yet remaining open to new information and respectful dialogue. It's the wisdom to know when to stand firm and when to adapt. Even something as vital as self-care can fall into extremes. Too little self-care leads to neglect, burnout, and a diminished capacity to give to others. This is a deficiency that harms our overall well-being. Conversely, an excess of self-care can morph into self-indulgence or even narcissism, where our focus becomes so inward that we neglect our responsibilities and connections to the wider world. This, too, creates imbalance. The balanced approach, the mean, is genuine self-nourishment. It's about tending to your physical, mental, and emotional needs in a way that replenishes your energy and enhances your ability to live a full and contributive life. It's care, not obsession. How then do we begin to apply this simple rule to avoid extremes in our own lives? The first step, as with much ancient wisdom, is self-reflection. We must become observers of our own tendencies. Ask yourself, where in my life do I consistently feel strain or dissatisfaction? Is it possible I'm leaning too far towards one extreme in that area? For example, in your pursuit of goals, are you relentless to the point of exhaustion or hesitant to the point of inaction? Notice your habitual responses. When faced with conflict, do you always attack excess or always withdraw deficiency? When managing your time, are you hyperscheduled excess or completely disorganized deficiency? Honesty here is key. Aristotle emphasized that the mean is relative to us. What is moderate for one person might be an extreme for another. Your unique constitution, circumstances, and goals all play a part in determining your specific path to balance. Once you identify a tendency towards an extreme, the next step is to consciously aim for the opposite extreme, just for a short while. Not to live there, but to understand its pull and recalibrate your center. If you tend towards excess, practice restraint. If you tend towards deficiency, consciously push yourself to do a little more, to be a little bolder. This deliberate course correction helps you to find where that true middle ground, your personal golden mean, actually lies. It's an experiential learning process. Finding the mean is not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing practice, a continuous series of small adjustments. Life is dynamic, and so our balance must be too. Think of it like steering a ship. Constant, subtle corrections keep you on course. Aristotle believed that developing virtuous habits was key. By repeatedly choosing the mean, it becomes more natural, more ingrained in our character. What starts as a conscious effort can evolve into an intuitive way of being. This simple rule also asks us to engage our reason. The golden mean isn't found through blind emotion or impulse, but through thoughtful consideration of the situation, the potential consequences, and our own values. It's about asking, what is the wise and fitting response here? Not what do I feel like doing, or what is easiest. This reflective pause is where the power to choose the mean truly originates. One powerful question to ask yourself when facing a decision or a reaction is, what would the virtuous person do? Imagine someone you admire for their balance and wisdom. How might they approach this? This isn't about imitation, but about using an ideal as a guidepost, a way to lift our perspective beyond our immediate impulses and habitual reactions towards a more considered, balanced response. The beauty of the golden mean is that it's not a restrictive rule, but an empowering one. It frees us from the tyranny of extremes, allowing us to operate from a place of strength, clarity, and purpose. When we live closer to our mean, we experience greater inner peace. The internal storms caused by excessive passion or the gnawing emptiness of deficiency begin to subside, replaced by a steady, calm resilience. This balance fosters better decision-making. When we are not swayed by extreme emotions or rigid thinking, we can see situations more clearly, assess options more objectively, and choose paths that are truly beneficial. Relationships also flourish when we practice the mean. Avoiding extremes like clinginess or detachment, excessive criticism or false praise, allows for more authentic, respectful, and supportive connections. Ultimately, Aristotle linked the golden mean to eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing, living well, or human thriving. It's a state of being where we are actualizing our highest potential, living a life of virtue and fulfillment. This isn't a passive state of bliss, but an active, engaged way of living, where our capacities are fully employed in a balanced and excellent manner. It is the highest good that human beings can strive for. So the invitation from this ancient wisdom is clear. Observe your tendencies. Are you living in the realm of too much or too little in key areas of your life? Where could you gently steer yourself back towards center? Remember, this is not about achieving a rigid, static perfection. Life will always present challenges that pull us off center. The goal is to develop the awareness and skill to return to balance more quickly and gracefully. The simple rule to avoid extremes is a lifelong practice. Each day offers opportunities to choose the middle path, to cultivate habits of moderation, courage, and wisdom in our thoughts, feelings, and actions. Think of a specific area in your life right now where you feel imbalanced. Perhaps it's your diet, your screen time, your social interactions, or your approach to difficult conversations. How might the golden mean apply here? If you overindulge in food excess, the mean isn't extreme restriction deficiency, but mindful, healthy eating. If you avoid difficult conversations deficiency, the mean isn't aggressive confrontation excess, but calm, assertive communication. The key is small, sustainable shifts. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Pick one area, identify your extreme, and gently experiment with moving towards the middle. Notice how it feels. Patience with yourself is crucial. There will be times you swing too far one way or the other. This is part of the learning process. The aim is not perfection, but a growing awareness and a commitment to seeking equilibrium. Consider the profound freedom that comes from no longer being a slave to your impulses or your inhibitions. The golden mean offers a path to self-mastery, where reason and wisdom guide your actions. This isn't about suppressing your vitality or passion. It's about channeling it effectively. A controlled fire provides warmth and light. An uncontrolled one brings destruction. The mean allows your inner fire to burn brightly and safely. As you practice finding your mean, you may notice a ripple effect. Greater balance in one area of life often supports balance in others. Inner calm can lead to more thoughtful actions, which in turn reinforce that calm. The wisdom of Aristotle, though ancient, speaks directly to the core of our modern anxieties and aspirations. The search for balance is timeless because it is fundamental to a well-lived human life. Embracing the golden mean is not about becoming less, but about becoming more of who you truly are, more centered, more effective, more at peace, and more capable of genuine flourishing. It's a path that requires courage, the courage to examine ourselves honestly. It requires temperance, the wisdom to moderate our desires, and it requires justice, fairness to ourselves and others in seeking what is right and good. This simple rule is a powerful antidote to the stress and polarization of our times. By seeking the mean within ourselves, we contribute to a more balanced and harmonious world around us. So, as you move forward from this reflection, carry this question with you. Where can I find my golden mean today? Let it be a gentle guide, a quiet compass pointing you towards a more balanced and fulfilling existence. The journey towards balance is not about a destination, but about the quality of the walk itself. Each step taken with awareness, each conscious choice to avoid an extreme, is a victory for your well-being. Remember Aristotle's profound insight. Virtue is a mean, and it is concerned with passions and actions, in which excess is a form of failure and so is defect, while the intermediate is praised and is a form of success. This praise, this success, is not about external accolades but about an internal alignment, a deep sense of living in accordance with your best self, in harmony with the principles of a well-ordered life. The challenge and the beauty lies in applying this ancient wisdom with fresh eyes to your own, unique, modern life. The principles are timeless. Their application is personal and ever-evolving. May you find strength in seeking moderation, clarity in avoiding extremes, and profound peace in walking the middle path. This is the simple, yet powerful, rule for a balanced life. The pursuit of this balance is itself a noble endeavor, one that enriches not only our own lives, but also the lives of those we touch. It is a quiet revolution of inner peace and purposeful living. Embrace the journey. The simple rule to avoid extremes is your guide. The reward is not just balance, but a deeper, more resonant experience of what it truly means to flourish.